It is my distinct honor today, on behalf of the 25 co-sponsor organizations of the Geneva Summit that are led by the United Nations Watch and its leader, Hillel Neuer, to present today the 2023 Geneva Summit Courage Award to Felix Maradiaga, a fellow Latin American. Now, Felix is no ordinary Latin American. In a continent that has endured and continues to endure military dictatorships, communist dictatorships, and armed conflicts that have led to hundreds of thousands of dead people, Felix represents what is best of the Latin American spirit. He renounced a lucrative career in the public sector, in the private sector, in order to become a human rights defender, which means that for the last 16 years, Felix has devoted himself to expose the brutality of the criminal Daniel Ortega regime in Nicaragua. During the Geneva Summit of 2019, 4 years ago, just after surviving an assassination attempt in Nicaragua, Felix stood here to denounce the crimes of the Ortega dictatorship, to call for the international community to get involved, and to impose sanctions on the regime. From this podium, he denounced the extrajudicial execution, the killings of 350 Nicaraguans that were protesting for democracy. He denounced that 82,000 people had been forced into exile at the time, thousands detained. He called for accountability over 650 people that had been arbitrarily arrested. It is possible to defeat tyranny through civil resistance and nonviolence, Felix said at the time, closing his presentation with a hopeful tone. 2 years later, however, in June 2021, the political police of Daniel Ortega kidnapped Felix and threw him into the dungeons of one of Latin America's most horrendous prisons, El Chipote. The regime did this to Felix for daring to announce his candidacy to the presidency of Nicaragua. Hillel mentioned this morning that it is illegal to run for president in Nicaragua, so you get thrown into jail for doing that. At El Chipote, Felix endured almost 2 years of inhuman and degrading treatment. For the majority of that period, he remained incommunicado. A little over 2 months ago, Felix's nightmare ended abruptly and unexpectedly, alongside the nightmare of 222 fellow Nicaraguan political prisoners who were forcibly exiled in a plane to the United States and stripped of their nationality. Felix did not only survive the brutality of Ortega's jail, but only days after encountering his equally courageous wife, Berta Valle, who advocated for his freedom throughout the world, and encountering his daughter, Alejandra, Felix again, he was not deterred, and he again chose to appear, invited by UN Watch, before the UN Human Rights Council, to speak on behalf of the remaining political prisoners in Nicaragua. That's the kind of bravery that Felix has showed. Felix, where are you? Oh, Felix. Querido Felix, courage is a choice. You have chosen at repeated moments throughout your life to choose courage, to choose facing dictatorship at a huge personal cost. And this is why you deserve the Geneva Summit's Courage Award. Congratulations.